all the football. You just have to add your color on this, and you got to set the fucking tone.
No, it's back. Give it to the quarterback. No, we got the running back. What?
Straight off the couch.
Here are the stories we're going to be chasing today.
Yeah, the stories we're going to be chasing is week 3 of the 2024-2025 season. It's in the books. It's all under the wraps now. Let me bring in my broadcast partner, the ever affable and effervescent Adam Weidel. Adam, how are you today, brother?
I'm doing well, Terry. Do you ever notice that the Thursday game sets the tone for the rest of the weekend?
You know, unfortunately, that is sad but true. And Thursday night's game was not what I would call a barn burner.
It was absolutely dismal.
Hot garbage.
It was definitely hot garbage. We actually, the big thing we got to see was, the number 3 overall pick, Drake May, get to play in garbage time. And he looked okay.
I was a little surprised at that move, to be honest with you, but not terribly so that they brought him in.
I think they just gave up, but I'll be honest, between your Bears and my Patriots O-lines, that's going to be an interesting game in a couple weeks when those two face, because, I've seen wet toilet paper hold back better than those O-lines.
It'll be the exact opposite of the immovable force meets the immovable object. It's just the exact opposite. It'll be just two dueling turnstiles,
It'll be a defensive battle. Defense will be getting through the entire time. Those O-lines are like Swiss cheese. I can't believe that teams invest so much in talent players, but nobody to protect them.
If the defenses haven't given up by then, because let's face it, it's got to be hard going out there playing hard every week, knowing that the offense isn't going to keep their end of the bargain up.
Yeah, there's the whole psychological aspect of it as well. So we go in, and here I am thinking I picked the Patriots, you picked the Jets. I wanted to lean towards the Jets because they've spent some money and they've added some key pieces, including who's going to be a Hall of Famer, Aaron Rodgers. But the Patriots looked competitive the 2 weeks before. They beat the Bengals, and they lost in overtime to the Seahawks.
It's appearing like beating the Bengals is not quite that big a deal anymore.
Apparently not, and we'll get to that. But they had a good game against the Seahawks where they unfortunately lost in overtime. I thought this was at least going to be a competitive game, and the New York Jets just wiped the stadium with the Patriots.
I saw the video of I missed it during the game. The video of Robert Saleh going in to give Rodgers a hug, and Rodgers looking like a candidate screaming, stranger danger," and running away.
Yeah. Some weird body language in that game. And every time they turn the camera to Saleh on the sidelines, he looks like he's just like the angriest dude on the planet. Even though they're up 24, they win the game 24-3. They didn't, I don't think they gave up the lead the entire game. I don't think the Patriots scored first. They may have got the opening field goal, but that was answered with a touchdown. Now Jets got a touchdown first, and then the Patriots answered with a field goal, and I thought, okay, it's 7-3.
Right. Early in the game, you're still hopeful that it might be a decent game.
Bad drive, whatever. At least you put points up there. This could be a competitive game. And, historically, the Jet, like everybody divisionally, usually plays pretty tight, especially in the AFC East.
Right.
It's usually a field goal game, but the landscape is changing. And, that game set the tone for the rest of the weekend.
So how did your early window games, did you see anything there that surprised you?
New York Giants coming out of the cellar and actually putting up a win on the Browns. It's the Browns, but yeah, a little bit of a shocker there. I figured the Browns would, without the Giants putting too many offensive points up on the first 2 weeks, that the Browns might have an answer. But we've talked about this on previous shows. Deshaun isn't doing his job. So the Browns didn't look good, and the Browns scored first. So they kicked to New York. New York fumbled the kickoff. Browns retrieved, and the first play from scrimmage was a touchdown that took an entire 10 seconds off the clock of the first quarter.
Have you seen pictures like they like to show pictures of like George Bush when he started in office and 8 years later when he leaves, or Barack Obama when he starts in office and 8 years later when he leaves, to show the wear and tear and the stress of the position? You've seen those pictures, right?
Oh yeah, because
have you,
Obama one, he looks like a 30-year-old man. By the time he leaves the White House, he looks 65.
Now, Deshaun Watson in his when he started playing football and now looks like he's aged like a president ages. I mean,
oh, for sure. Like to see him in as a rookie Texan, he looked like a little kid, and now he looks like he's ready for retirement.
Yeah, it's god awful. And one of the big surprises for me, Bo Nix putting a beating on Tampa Bay.
Yeah, so there was a couple beatings this weekend. The Broncos just having their way with the Bucs. This was a team that they were looking good, and our boy Baker, sorry Baker, you're not getting a Dairy Queen trip this week.
No, you gotta. If you want to fetch, you gotta move.
Those are rookie numbers. You gotta bump those numbers up. So that was a lamb basting. So there's a bunch of those this week. And I mean,
Seahawks over Jets, Dolphins. That was
the Jets just set the tone. The Jets set the fucking tone for the league, and Vikings just lamb basting the Texans.
I did not, in my wildest dreams. If they'd have won, I was thinking like a 23-21 game if they'd have won, but that wasn't even close.
You didn't have Sam Darnold on your early MVP bingo card because he's playing MVP style football right now.
I haven't looked at my MVP bingo card. And the Seahawks beating the Dolphins by 21 points.
It's the same score as Thursday night, 24-3.
Yeah, wild.
And so the tight end got to show his tight end and in Miami there. That was something. That was a fun tackle. I don't know if you saw pictures of it.
No, I did not.
Grabbed him by the pants and bare ass hanging out.
So, good. So he didn't tie the string in his pants very well, is what it sounds like.
Guy was just trying to grab at anything as he was running by. So
and what about the late games? Any of the late games stick out to you?
So before we even go into late games, I just want to look at this real quick on the early stuff. The two games that stuck out in the early window to me, other than the big smashings, was the Eagles and the Saints having a big defensive battle.
Somebody figured out a way to keep the Saints from scoring 40 points.
Yeah, so they only had a field goal for the majority of this game. It was a 3-0 game until about the late third, early fourth quarter. It was 3-0 Saints, and I was trying to figure out what was happening there. The Eagles bested them by 3 in the end. And then the other big match I was watching was the battle of the undefeateds, Chargers versus Steelers. And your boy Justin Fields was looking pretty good.
JF2 is 3-0.
Yeah,
which has a lot of
that
Chicago.
Brings them up to 3-0.
And which has a lot of Chicago people going, see, we didn't need a quarterback. You needed to invest in the offensive line, which I wouldn't argue with a bit.
And the Packers had their way with the Titans, which was not a surprise. The big surprise there is they're doing up with Malik Willis, who was drafted by the Titans. So a little bit of a revenge game there, but the guy's only had 2 weeks in. So
and my Packer friends, if you want to have fun with your Packer fan friends, my listening audience, just tell them there should be a quarterback controversy in Green Bay and just watch them melt down. Because that can be fun. Tell them there's a quarterback controversy. Malik is just as good as Love, and
I'm sure the media will spin that soon.
Yeah,
especially if Love is. I think he's coming back this week. But if something happens and Malik gets another week under his belt,
it's good to know you got a backup that can score.
Speaking of backups that can score, that brings us into the late window. Bryce Young gets benched for Andy Dalton, and the Panthers get out of the cellar and put their first win, and Andy Dalton looked amazing.
He does that, though. He's a streaky player. That's one of his knocks is he's inconsistent. But, Yeah, he threw for 3 touchdowns.
He's the Fitzmagic of this era.
He's
the journeyman.
There's only one Fitzmagic, man, and make sure you genuflect when you say his name.
I said of this era.
Make sure you genuflect when you say that name, sir.
Oh yeah, I'll have to bow and take my communion to
yeah,
the
no, but
Fitzmagic.
I mean, because Andy Dalton played here in Chicago one year, and he's a serviceable guy. I mean, when he played in Dallas when Dak went down, he's a serviceable quarterback.
There was a lot of former Chicago quarterbacks on display this weekend over the whole weekend. So that's interesting. So Fields gets his 3-0. So much for that Russell Wilson deal, eh?
Yeah, now that's an actual quarterback controversy in my estimation, because how can you bench a guy who's 3-0 and he's performing as well as he is? It's not like he's throwing up a bunch of picks.
I think they only paid $1 million for Russell or something. Like he's still getting paid by the Broncos.
Yes,
so.
There will be a game later on this season where the Broncos are paying Russell like $1.7 million to play against them. That game is coming up. So,
so the Panthers they do a little shellacking on the Raiders. As we said, Seahawks just smacked the Dolphins around. Can't beat the Hawk without Tua.
Can't. Tua got to get a Loa, you know. I mean,
Tua got to get his head in the game.
Gotta quit taking those hits to the head.
No surprise, Lions pull off a win against the Cardinals. Lions are a pretty strong team. Cardinals were looking good, but Lions overall strong team. Ravens were smacking the Cowgirls all over the place, and then allowed them back into the game, and they almost came back to win it, and had our first retrieved onside kick of the season.
The Ravens have led in the fourth quarter of every game.
Yeah,
they just can't seem to make that.
They can't close it.
They can't close it out. Yeah,
they can't close it. And
that
Rams come back to bite the Niners in the ass. That's another story that we should be watching really closely.
I didn't expect that. I really didn't. So good on the Rams for.
Both these squads are devastated with injuries.
Yeah, that's true.
Both of them. And now they're talking about Christian McCaffrey's in Germany getting some specialist to look at his Achilles tendonitis or whatever he's got going on there. Because Brock Purdy's got some back spasm problems or something. Like everybody's just falling apart on that team.
The Germans they're famous for their medical research.
They have great engineering.
Yeah,
in all fields.
So that brings us to the Sunday night game.
Yeah. I don't know.
Full disclosure, boys and girls, Sunday was my birthday, so I was kind of distracted with my children being over and celebrating and all that. I did see near the end of the fourth quarter they were calling a lot of penalties on the Chiefs, and I thought maybe the Falcons have a chance. And then there's that missed pass interference in the end zone.
Awful one. Absolute awful pass interference. Missed pass interference call with the ref 5 feet away.
Yeah, and I actually had the thought, wow, maybe the officiating is starting to get tired of being, called Kansas City's girlfriend, and then they pull something like that off and they look like Kansas City's girlfriend.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. I was just,
but it looked like a competitive. It looked like a competitive game. It looked like it was a back and forth game. Kirk Cousins.
So that's what I enjoyed about it. But to be honest, I don't think. You can call me out on this, guys. I really don't care. I think the Chiefs should be an 0-3 team at this point. They're not playing with that amazing
a radio personality. The radio personality here in Chicago, Danny Parkins, who was on the air for a few years in Kansas City, had the observation that interception that Patrick threw in later in the game. He said he's not dialed in. He's not. His head's not set. He doesn't look like the MVP Patrick Mahomes. And then you had Travis Kelce. It almost looked like he was crying on the sidelines.
Yeah, so he's been double teamed a lot, and with all due respect, that's a smart play by the opposition. You got
to double team somebody who's going to be that effective. That's what you do.
He's big. He's strong. He can break tackles. You got to make them throw it to the rookies, right? But as you said, Patrick doesn't look like the old Mahomes where he was just like making amazing plays and keeping plays alive, and it's not as explosive as it used to be. And all three of their games honestly could have went either way. They're not amazing, typical Mahomes era games where you were just like, oh my God, the Chiefs are here to stay. It's 37-14 or something. Or even like that Buffalo Kansas City game from years ago in the playoffs where it was just like there was 3 minutes on the clock and they exchanged like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he and Josh were just exchanging touchdowns like
it was
crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, and that was actually, I remember when I saw that game thinking this is the best football game I've seen in 15 years. And that kind of launched the rivalry between the Chiefs and the Bills. It renewed it quite a bit, that one game. And Patrick just, right now, if I had to put those two head-to-head, I'm taking Josh. Josh was...
Oh, I'm totally taking the Bills. That brings us to last night in our Monday night window. We had a doubleheader. So the first game, the early game, I'm going to say it's the early game, but they were 45 minutes apart.
I was going to say early by a half an hour, right.
Jaguars come into Buffalo to hopefully get their first win of the season.
I think they went into Buffalo for some wings, because that's what I think they were there for, was just the wings. They weren't really playing football.
It certainly looked like it, because Buffalo had like 33 points up on the board by the half. I think there was only one time that they didn't score when they touched the ball. Yeah. It was just it was just a course. It was a course on how to play football. It looked like a professional football team playing a high school football team, and this was an exhibition game. This was like the Harlem Globetrotters came to town.
Yeah, and the Jaguars were the Washington Senators, right?
And it just looked awful. There was no urgency on the Jaguars' end of things. Everybody looked spiritually defeated when they hit the field. They didn't, and then the Bills, get 14 points in first quarter. Actually, I think they got 21 points in the first quarter. It was ridiculous.
Because of my viewing situation, my ABC and ESPN are in the same app, so I can't watch both simultaneously on two different devices like I would normally like to do.
I honestly didn't like that they did that.
Yeah, but I don't know this for a fact. This is speculation, so I'm going to be honest with that. I think that was a contractual thing. ESPN contracted for so many games, and they can't give them a Sunday game or a Thursday game because those are contracted to somebody else.
Fair.
So they did 2 on Monday night to make sure that ESPN contract was fulfilled. That's what I think happened.
I think that's probably because of the deal that they made with Netflix for Christmas Day. They gave them 2 games. So
right.
I believe that week we lose Monday nighters or something because maybe not. I don't know.
Well,
we'll have to look when we get farther towards Christmas.
Yeah, because ESPN, the same company that owns ESPN owns ABC. They're owned by the same parent company. So that's why I think that's why that is. It was a contractual thing.
I think that's all because they want to get Disney streaming
football. Yeah,
football eventually.
That's a good possibility. Which brings us
because they're all under that umbrella, right? They're all under the same the House of Mouse.
The House of the Mouse, and that brings us to the later game where the Bengals are now 0-3. Did you see that coming?
I didn't see it coming, but I'll tell you what I did enjoy about this game. I didn't see a punt.
No, I saw that there was a lot of. I mean, they were going back and forth. What was there, 4 or 5 lead changes?
Yeah. So even though this game started 45 minutes after the Bills game, it ended 15 minutes after the Bills game ended.
Yeah. Well, there wasn't. I read this today. There might have been the first time in like 3 years there was no penalties on either side.
Yeah. So the stat on it is no punts, no penalties, and there's some other stat that they had, and it hasn't happened in a football game since like 1945 or something.
Yeah, some crazy thing like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no punts, like it was a good football game. It was competitive. It was fun to watch. I did not see the Bengals getting beaten by the Commanders. We both picked wrong, but At least it was a close competitive game. Now, Bengals missed a 2-point conversion and an early field goal, which would have put those 5 points back on the board, and then that would have been a tie and made this an overtime game.
Yeah, I wasn't at the very end. I wasn't there for the very end of that game, so I missed that for other reasons. But I'm not. Yeah, that was. It kept going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
It was exciting football. That was the highlight of the week. I thought, Monday night snoozer. Bengals are gonna crush these guys because they're hungry for a win. Turns out, apparently Washington was hungrier, and that puts them in tied for first in their division right now, which I also didn't see coming.
No, I didn't see that coming at all. And that brings us to our
What are you looking at?
that brings us to our fashions portion of the game, of the show.
Fashion.
Time for Coach Blackwell to come out and do his thing.
All right, so this week we had Arizona coming out in their full blackout uniforms, Terry. That's right, they came out head to toe, black on black on black.
Oh boy, Arizona doesn't do that very often. That you know what? Throw in a little more of the red, because the black and the red's a good look.
The black and red is a good look. Ravens came out this week, purple on purple. Color rush uniform with a black helmet.
Loved it.
Lions, Chiefs, and Chargers went full whiteout.
There you go.
We had the Vikings with their 70s throwback uniforms.
That's a good look. That's the first Scramble and Fran Tarkenton era. I like that look.
We also had the Saints come out in complete blackouts except the helmet, gold helmets. Because you've got to put a little flash in there.
I don't think the Saints have a black helmet. That would be a good look if they did. They all put the black helmet and the gold fleur-de-lis. That would be a hot look.
Then the Seahawks came in full out navy blue, head to toe, color rush. Yes.
Color me excited.
And then we had the Titans come out in their powder blue jerseys.
Ooh, powder blue to match my underwear.
And then finally, we had Commanders last night. I think this is a normal uniform for them, but I think it's new this year. The white on burgundy. It looked good.
I think that is a new one for this year. I don't think it's a special purpose
uniform. I don't think it's anything special, but it's worth mentioning since we're in the fashion segment.
It screams fun to me, Adam. It just screams fun.
It was fabulous. Yeah, excellent. There wasn't a ton of stuff in fashion this week because everybody's getting back. I think first couple of games of the season they want to pop out and say, "Hey, we've got a special uniform for our first home game whatever."
It just screams, "Look at me! Look at me!"
It's just like, I clash.
Well, if you're going to go into battle, you must clash.
The only thing about fashion that bothers me is the teams that have yellow as a color, and some of the guys choose to wear like yellow shoes or yellow gloves, and then you see them flying around, and you're like, "There's a flag."
No, it's not. It's their gloves.
It's the guy's glove.
It's a good observation on your part. And moving right along, that brings us to this week's games.
Well, we have a couple things to mention. We still have 5 undefeated teams in the league right now, so we should set this up. We have Bills, Chiefs, Steelers, Seahawks, and Vikings all have not lost this year. And we have 3 winless teams. We have the Bengals, Jags, and Titans. They have not won a game. And we also have teams that just got out of the cellar this week. They started 0-2 and they won their first game in the Panthers, Colts, Broncos, Ravens, and Giants. So the landscape is changing.
Well, and also this week being week 4, this is when we're going to see a lot of teams that have shaken off that rust, and they're going to start hitting their stride this week and next week. So you're going to see a lot better quality of games moving forward.
Yeah, you're gonna see teams with identities start to merge forward or go forward. So let's start with our Thursday night game. It is a divisional match where the Dallas Cowboys will be visiting the New York Giants in the Meadowlands. This is an interesting one. Both teams are 1-2, and they're in the bottom of this division. They're tied for last in this division. Can you believe I'm saying this?
No, I
tied
can't.
For first and tied for last in the same division. It's a tie right now.
Did you see last week Stephen A. Smith made a comment that the worst fans, in his opinion, in professional sports are Dallas Cowboys fans?
Isn't he a Dallas Cowboys fan?
I don't know, but I was a little surprised because Stephen A. Smith, I wouldn't call him middle of the road, but he doesn't usually get too controversial. To call out a fan base like that,
he's not going to be well loved. I thought he was a Cowboys fan.
Maybe he was. I don't know. I know he likes Dak Prescott and he used to like Zeke Elliott. And,
he talks about Dak, and he used to talk about Dak and Zeke like they were the only two football players on the planet.
Yeah. So that's I don't know.
Oh, maybe he's just trying to start something. Maybe he got to get his ratings up or something.
Well, and then the other thing I saw that cracks me up, because I always get a kick out of this. Cowboy fans are calling for Jerry Jones, the owner, to fire Jerry Jones, the GM. I love it when a fan base says we need to fire the owners. That's not how this works, Buttercup.
Yeah, so he's not going anywhere, and you're still buying tickets and merch regardless of what happens there. So because you're a Cowboys fan, and that's just how it goes.
I'm dealing with that right now with my Chicago White Sox. We need to fire the owners. This isn't how it works. You don't fire the owners.
No. It's not how it works. So who are you taking in the Cowboys-Giants matchup?
In this particular game, I'm going to go the boys because they are still putting up points. They've just run into some teams that have figured them out early. But I think they're going to get healthy this week against the Giants. I don't picture Daniel Jones putting up a lot of points against the Cowboys defense. I'm going all Dallas on this one.
I'm with you 100% on that. I cannot see the Giants coming back and going, hey, we're going to score points. They've got too many holes in their lineup. They don't have the best offensive line in the world to protect Daniel Jones, who could not throw a pass to a wide open receiver if he had all day. It seems like last week was his first week where he was actually like catching his stride. But yeah, the Cowboys, they're too dynamic. I think Dak's too good of a quarterback. They've got all the pieces there as well. They've got great wide receivers. They've got great running. They do have an O-line. They have a killer defense. I think the Cowboys stumbled a little bit,
and that happens especially early in the season.
And they did come back against the Ravens. Almost almost came back and got a win.
Yeah, they made a game of it for sure.
So I agree, Cowboys over Giants for sure. Next matchup, we have. I should actually look at some of these Sunday games. I know we're not going to pick them, but there could be something.
The early window is Bengals at Panthers. I think
so that's going to be interesting.
I think the Bengals are going to get healthy there.
They have to play their former quarterback Andy Dalton.
Yeah, and then the other one is Saints at Falcons. That'll be a good game. That's a divisional game, and both those teams are playing really well early in the season.
That's going to be a fun one to watch.
Another one that I think is going to be a bit of a snooze fest. Jaguars at Texans. I think Houston's going to get healthy. That brings up.
I don't think the Jags are going to win a game until they go to London at this point. The way they've been playing.
I agree with that 100%. Now this next one actually has a little bit of. I don't want to call it intrigue, but it interests me a little bit. Broncos at Jets. If Bo Nix that showed up last week shows up this week, that could be a slightly different outcome than I would normally expect. I'm still going to lean toward the Jets, but I'd like to see if Bo Nix can continue his growth.
One of the matchups that I'm really looking forward to in this early window is divisional matchup of Vikings at Packers.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a good one.
I know it's your division, but I'm kind of pulling for these Vikings right now. I don't know why. It's just they look great.
Because you didn't see it coming. That's why. Because you didn't see it coming. And the next game up on Sunday for the early window, we have Steelers at Colts. I think Pittsburgh is going to continue to roll.
Yeah, the Colts haven't shown me that they have anything going on there. Gardner Minshew looks all right, but he doesn't have any pieces to help him.
No, he doesn't. That brings up I hate to say this, Rams at Bears. The Bears don't have a chance.
So the Rams are beaten up pretty bad right now.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't be surprised if Chicago pulls this one out. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, their offensive line sucks. In the last game in the early window, has a lot of potential. Eagles at Buccaneers.
I hope that Baker, really wants to go for that Sunday. We'll even get him an extra large if he wants. You know what,
Baker, you win this game. Sprinkles are on us.
Yeah, we'll do whatever you want. Whipped cream, you want like peanut butter cups on top, we don't care. You gummy bears, we don't care, bud. You tell it. You win this, because that's going to make the NFC East division really difficult if the Bucs can pull that one off.
It will. Well, the Bucs are in the NFC South, not the East.
No, I'm talking if they can topple the Eagles, because the Eagles and the Commanders are both tied for first right now, and we need to see some spread happening on all these divisions.
Right, we need to see some separation.
We need some separation here.
And in the late window, we have Patriots at Niners.
So this one really bothers me because both these teams are struggling. The Niners
are struggling health-wise, not performance-wise.
Yeah, so I don't think the Pats can take the Niners at home. I really don't. I think Brock Purdy could be out there by himself, and the other 10 players could be sitting on the bench, and I think he'll beat the Patriots.
Yeah, yeah. Brock Purdy with the back spasms is going to beat the Patriots. I agree with that.
I really don't see a lot of fight left in these guys, especially after Thursday night. And they fooled me, man. They lied to me. They looked like a competitive team for the first 2 weeks, and I don't know what happened in New Jersey, but man, like it was a short week too. Who knows? I don't know.
And then the next we have Washington Commanders at Arizona Cardinals. That has the potential to be a good game. Both of those teams are playing pretty well, playing pretty good football. That has a potential. And
you've got two guys out of the same rookie class playing here. We've got Jaden Daniels as quarterback for the Commanders, and then we got Marvin Harrison Jr. as the wideout for the Cardinals in the same draft class.
And Harrison has looked really good the first 3 weeks.
He looks amazing.
Yeah, so
he's fast. He's long too. He's got that
reach. Yeah.
He's got that wingspan where he can just reach over guys, which is crazy.
And another one in the late windows that I don't think anybody's going to be surprised the outcome of this is Chiefs-Chargers, because the Chargers aren't if I remember right, didn't Herbert go down?
Yeah, he's got an ankle injury or something. Yeah. I think Chargers take this if Herbert plays.
And then we have Browns at Raiders, not Ravens. Browns at the Raiders.
And the only reason I think the Chargers are going to beat the Chiefs is because I think the league is going to make a statement and throw lots of penalties and really say, "Hey, we're not the Chiefs' girlfriend." I think that's really what the statement is.
I don't
make it look good, guys.
I need to see it to believe it, and I want to see it in a playoff game.
I don't know.
Yeah. But we got Cincinnati at Las Vegas. That's a late window game. Right now, the Raiders. I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Cleveland at Raiders, eh? I think the Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to destroy the Browns. I think Max Crosby is going to take Deshaun Watson to the ground no less than 5 times.
And that was the last Sunday afternoon game. That brings us That brings us to Sunday Night Football. Bills at Ravens. This one has all the earmarks of a ding-dong thriller-diller of a knockdown drag out of a football game. Whoa, Nelly.
This one scares the shit out of me. So Bills are traveling to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And they just got off. They're on a short week. They just got off a primetime game.
Yep.
Ravens just beat the Cowboys.
Yep.
Barely, but they beat them.
Yep.
So where are we here? What are you picking? I mean, it's almost hard to go against the Bills the way they're rolling.
I was going to say I'm going to go Buffalo until they prove me wrong. I like Buffalo, but the Ravens, like you said, man, they need this win. If they want to continue to stay competitive, they need this win. So,
all right, well,
I'm picking
for
Bills.
For the sake of trying to get one up on you, either go up or down on you, I'm going to go Ravens.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens win. Don't get me wrong, but I honestly think the Bills can do no wrong right now, the way they played last night, but they also played against a garbage football team. Yeah, but Josh Allen, he seems to rise to whatever team he's playing against. I mean, so...
And then also the Ravens, I mean, they haven't hit their full stride yet. They've had some heartbreakers already.
Is it just me, or does Derrick Henry look leaner? He looks like
he lost some, and so did Lamar.
Yeah, and now Lamar losing's not bad. That doesn't bug me too much. Derrick Henry, I think, needs to be a little heavier. If you're going to be that bowling ball, you got to be a little heavier to push people back. But we'll wait and see. And
All right, so we went opposite there for that game.
That brings us to Monday night. Once again, we have 2 Monday night games.
Dude, this is a throw up game for me. The early Monday nighter.
Yeah, the early game.
Just
you know what, boys
gross.
and girls? If you don't want to watch the beginning of the early Monday night game, I would highly recommend reading a book, taking a nap, doing whatever you have to do to avoid watching this football game. We've got the Titans at the Dolphins with no Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, take the wife or boyfriend or whatever you got going on out for dinner and make it a late dinner on Monday.
Yeah,
you know, work's hard. It's hard to get back to work on Monday.
Yeah.
Treat yourself and don't hurt yourself by watching the early part of this game. But I'm going to watch it because I'm all about the pain.
Yeah, well, not only that, we're here for you, boys and girls. Uncle Adam and Uncle Terry. We'll take these bullets so you don't have to.
I've watched a lot of garbage football.
Think of us like the football Secret Service in your life.
Yeah.
And that the last game of the week.
Who are you taking, Titans or Dolphins?
Oh, we have to actually pitch this one.
Oh yeah, you got to pick, bud. We agreed that all primetime games, and then also I guess on our pick list is we'll have to do a special one. But anytime that there is like a holiday game like Thanksgiving,
or Christmas or something,
or Christmas or something, we will have to put that one into our primetime list because that's considered a primetime game. The only game I'm going to add that's not a primetime game, because it's you and me head to head this year, Bears and Patriots are going to play each other. So we'll add that one to the list when that week comes up.
That's another
just
one.
For fun.
That's another one, boys and girls, where Uncle Adam and Uncle Terry will take those bullets for you. If I have to choose somebody, I'm going to go Titans on that one.
Ah, man, that's a tough one for me. Man, they're in Miami, but Tennessee's a hot place too. So
Tennessee's a hot place too, and the Dolphins do. I mean, the Titans do have a pretty good defense. Their defense isn't terrible. It's just,
Will Levis just throws too many picks.
Yeah, and he throws them at the worst time too.
Yeah. Man, oh man. I think I'm gonna have to go Dolphins on this one.
Okay, and that brings us to the last game for this week. And this one, it's Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. I'm going to go Detroit, but I'd like to see Seattle come and scare the Lions a little bit. Make them earn it.
So the Seahawks have been playing good football. I wouldn't say great football. They've been playing good football, but you also have to look at the teams that the Seahawks have gone up against.
Yeah, there is that.
I don't think they've had a true competitor, like a true playoff competitor, up to this point.
That's
I
fair.
say the Lions hand them their first loss.
You do,
and I want to be. Yeah, I say the Lions hand them their first loss. I can't go. I just don't think Geno has it. DK Metcalf looks great. He's always been a solid wide receiver. But I think the Lions have something special. I watched them play Arizona on the weekend, and Arizona gave them a tough time, and they adapted, and they did some really crazy fourth down conversion stuff like they always do, and they came out winning.
The Cardinals aren't looking terrible early in the year, but
the Cards look good.
But
the Cards look good. It's just I think the Lions could adapt to any team right now.
But this has been their MO, though. The Cardinals have often started good and failed come October, November. So
they've often started bad and just stayed bad too.
Yeah. So the next month is going to tell a lot about the Arizona Cardinals.
So that is going to summarize our week. I hope I didn't make bad picks, because you're already up on me 8-5 so far.
Yeah, if I'm picking straight up without the spread, I can call pretty good. But if you can make me do the spread, then I'm out. That's when I start screwing
I'm not
up.
even looking at spreads. I am just basing my opinion on what I've seen this year for the first 3 weeks of football that I've watched, because I have watched pretty much every game, and if I've missed a game, I've went back and tried to at least grab the highlights to see what's happening and who's playing well.
Well, and that's the nice thing about having the NFL Network available to you. You can always, because they replay the games throughout the week, and you can always go back and watch if you want to.
Yeah, so that's always a nice thing, is like a replay, and sometimes it's a commercial-free replay, so you can actually watch an hour-long football game in like an hour and a half.
Well, there you go. That's nice, because
yeah, I redid that one with the São Paulo Brazil game, because I was out with some people and I missed a lot of the calls and stuff, and I was watching the game, but I was like, wait a minute, there was a touchdown there. Why is it still 0-0 on the board? So I went back and kind of rewatched the whole game, and it was a commercial-free one, and I had the whole game done in an hour and 25 minutes. I was just like, well, this is amazing. Why can't every football game be like this?
Yeah, as much as I love football, man, you give up a Sunday and you only get 3 games in. I mean, you give up your entire day and it's only 3 games.
The commercials really kill it.
They really do. I read once somewhere that it's it's only like 92 seconds of action for every 45 minutes of viewing time or something like that.
That doesn't surprise me. Everybody wants to get their advertising dollars in there, right?
That's what Roger Goodell's job is to make sure that the owners make money, and that's how they make money, is through the advertisements.
Yeah, they're averaging about 25 million people watching primetime games now. So during Sunday, Sunday's a tough one. I'm going to estimate anywhere between 10 to 15 million eyes on certain games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of advertising revenue.
Yep, it certainly is. I mean, let's face it, the NFL basically owns Sunday in North America.
Oh, absolutely. The only way they got away with that Friday game was because of the way that the college schedule started.
Right.
Because they have some deal with college broadcasting as well that they can't televise on the same day or whatever.
They try not to step on each other's toes. Absolutely. Well, is there anything else we need to cover?
I think we're pretty good. I'm looking forward to this week's games. I'm just checking into week 5 to make sure there isn't a doubleheader Monday. Thank goodness. Okay. Because that was a little odd last night. Trying to keep track of 2 games. I know I keep track of 7, 8, 10 games on Sunday in the early window, but that's different.
That is.
I've got Red Zone to help me too.
Right.
But
last
night with the staggered timings, it was hard.
Does the NFL Network even run Red Zone on Monday?
No, they only run it on Sunday for the early and late windows.
When that double Monday thing is going on, they should consider doing it on those days.
Yeah, but is Scott Hansen gonna come out to do 2 games?
Who knows?
Probably not. He's got to have that Octo box up.
I'm sure. Well, that's going to do it for us for this week, boys and girls. Adam, where can the kids find us at?
So actually check us out on Facebook, Straight Off the Couch. That's a good spot to find us. We always post the latest episode there. We also have the podcast on any podcast platform that you listen to. But we share stuff that's going on around the league, and the memes and the pictures and all that good stuff. So that's a good place to find us. Anywhere else you can check us out. Check out our link tree. Once again, Straight Off the Couch. You can hit me up on the Twitters, on the X at Adam Off the Couch. Terry, where can they find you?
My couch. Just come
off the couch.
Just come right to my couch. That's where you're going to find me at. You can find me on the X, the Twitters, the tweet machines at TREMUP. That's at TREMUP. I think I'm on the gram as Tear 'em Up Terry, so if you want to go to the gram, you can find me there. It is Tear 'em Up Terry on the gram. And that's, other than that, just shoot me a text, because I'm never far away.
Just phone me, goddammit.
Just call. I don't need this crap. Just call me.
Get off my lawn.
And I'm going to answer from my phone with a cord.
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll do it for this week, boys and girls. For my broadcast partner, Adam Whitehall, be safe, God bless. Bye-bye, everybody.
We'll see you next week.